welcome to the Boruto Podcast, episode 11. And this one is about Kurama, otherwise known as Nine Tails. Kurama is such an important character, and lately, in chapter 10 and 9, we got to see Kurama back in action, which is crazy. And I think a lot of Boruto fans are going to be coming back to the series just because of Kurama. Um, so we're joined by Saturi, Boruto fan, and Drifting. And Boruto fan also does Boruto Lives on TikTok. You can find his link in the description of this podcast. Joined by some cool people today. And yeah, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was, why didn't Kurama tell Naruto he would reincarnate?
Okay. Um, I think that Kurama didn't know. I, I think this was new to him. Like this was a whole new ability that they've never done before, and he was like, "I don't know what's going to happen. This is different, and I'm probably not coming back from this."
Really? You think he didn't know? I think he knew because he tells Himawari.
Well,
He tells her that they reincarnate.
that's true, but it could just be like that situation where it's like, okay, how it, this is the usual explanation. Like usually when telebeasts die, they're brought back. So that's probably what happened. But then he also brought in other factors, like, well, maybe it's because of your bloodline, which I don't know how to associate that with this situation. But yeah, I don't know. Baruyama, it did really seem like it was different. Like Kurama was done for this time. But yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people thought Kurama was done.
yeah.
I agree with
Um,
everything. I don't think Kurama knew. And the reason I don't think he knew he was coming back is because he said when he was having that conversation with Himawari, he was like he didn't know how long it would take for him to come back. And also when he was having his conversation with Naruto, he said, we may never speak again. So I feel like he knew, but at the same time he didn't know when.
it was it was
Hmm.
it's definitely a different way of like a tail beast extraction because like for example like usually when you yank a tail beast out of someone like they die but he's like this is different like you're not gonna die from this one and I'm gonna go and he even said hey watch out Naruto or else you're gonna join me one day so I don't know I feel like because like the way he talks to Himawari he makes it sound like it's a mysterious outcome like I don't know why this happened. You know, like usually Tubbies are revived, but I don't know necessarily why I'm here with you. Well, okay, maybe that's why he's confused. I don't know. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think he wanted Naruto to get stronger. Because even back in the first volume, actually, I know the second volume, um, Kurama was like not super thrilled about him having to lean back on his powers. I think he just wanted to improve his own base and improve things like Sage Mode. And we actually saw that afterwards, where he supposedly did get like a buff Sage Mode. It's supposed to last longer, but we never actually got to see that, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it's possible that whenever he becomes unsealed from that timeless dimension, that he'll actually get to use it again.
Yeah. And Cedric, you mentioned Kurama made a lot of fans dislike Boruto after dying. That is very true. A lot of people hated it just because I've seen it in person.
I think a lot of people also didn't like the initial death. Like, I think they wanted Naruto to be the main character, even though the series is called Boruto. So
Yeah.
I think once some time had passed, they saw that as like a reversal almost. But at the same time, Naruto is still not the main character. So I think they're just kind of conflicted about the main character change. Some people were locked into that permadeath theory with Kurama. So Yeah, I mean it's understandable, but some people get a little bit too heated when it comes to this.
Yeah. Um.
Also,
Mhm.
also, I do remember a few people coming back around that time too, because they said some people were saying that Kishimoto is back, and he had to come up with Baryon mode, to bring the fans back, which is just like the worst theory I ever heard. But that's what
Mhm.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I do remember some Naruto fans coming back to Boruto at that point.
There is a little bit of credence to that. Kodachi's last chapter that he worked on was right before Baryon got revealed, and um, so I can see why some people think that, but I do think that it was at least part of Kodachi's idea on how to get Naruto out from being the main character.
Yeah, I
I,
agree. I feel like it had to happen because when we go back to the point where Kaoki sealed him, like why would he seal Naruto? Because Naruto with Kurama, if we're being honest, Naruto with Kurama was strong. He was strong with Kurama. So Kawaki had to have a reason to seal him. And if Naruto was strong, what would be that reason?
Is he wouldn't have his like fast healing and stuff.
Exactly.
Um. But Kurama also mentioned in what chapter 10 that uh he is now stronger than he was with Naruto or Kushina. Like that's really seriously, um that means a lot. I think a lot of the manga dialogue is very serious and has a lot of meaning. And we can't
Oh,
just overlook that.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But I feel like people are ignoring that too. Like a lot of people are ignoring the dialogue. They're just seeing the power, the Biju bombs, the new villains, the karma, and they're ignoring everything else.
Yeah, and even
Other
if his like
than
compatibility is like 10% better, just imagine basically a 10% stronger Naruto at his max power. And so yeah, some even on a minor level would be pretty huge.
Yeah,
I,
and it what's up?
I'm about to say, I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, do you guys think that Kurama coming back and then like spawning like in Himawari, do you think that was planned or do you think that was like, oh wait, maybe it's better if we bring him back?
It was definitely planned because Damon, when he had his first interaction with Himawari, he sensed it. He knew. Like they planned this out for a while.
That's true. In the anime, they did have a lot of episodes. They did have like that arc, that little arc where Kurama and Himawari, and then Himawari and Shukaku, she had like that little affinity for the tail beasts.
Yeah, lots of foreshadowing for sure in the anime. There's a lot of foreshadowing, and we can talk about this another time. We already have a Jogon episode, but the Jogon definitely canon.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, and
so
then
mhm.
I was gonna add that you also have that concept art of where Boruto was gonna be the Jinchuriki, and I
Yeah,
think things changed and it ended up being Himawari. So it was gonna be planned as at some point for Naruto to lose Kurama and then for one of his kids to gain him.
yeah, it's been there for a while. Yeah, so Himawari, it seems like Kurama's already like not like fighting back, and he's like trying to work together with Himawari. So it seems like she might not even need. She could probably have chains like Kushina chakra chains, but she probably doesn't even need them unless the thing is Kurama is like they show him as like a teenage kid or something. Like he's
Mhm.
gonna be rebellious or something.
Yeah, she might actually
Well,
need him on Jura more than she needs it on Kurama.
well, I wonder about that. I wonder, like, if he retained all of his memories, he might just be the same Kurama, the exact same Kurama. It's just younger,
Yeah,
smaller form.
maybe yeah, because he does have the memories. Yeah, and
Um,
so as far as Himawari, do you think she'll ever use Baryon mode, or would it be like something better and wouldn't go away?
I think she's gonna have something that is similar to Baryon mode. I don't think it's gonna be exactly Baryon mode. I think it might be like a weaker version of it.
Mm.
Because I feel like that would just make more sense. Because if we get a Baryon mode where the energy is being absorbed and then Kurama could just go away again, I don't think that's going to be used for a second time. Unless I feel like Himawari could actually die.
Well, I mean, Himawari has an advantage because Naruto didn't know he had access to this form, but not
Right.
because it was like an experiment. Like, hey, we never done this before, but I think this could work. But now Himawari, from a very young age, she has so much experience. Well, she has so much passed on to her. Like, she has this Brian Mo experience from a younger age. There's a possibility that she could find a way to like perfect it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you
Like
mean. I get what you mean.
her using it like so early, I feel like it might be maybe a later thing. Like I picture it like maybe she'll go through some of like the stages. Like maybe this is like, well, she doesn't have like a tail or anything like that. I don't know what kind of mode this is.
Well,
Um,
you could look at her and just count the strings of her hair because it is 9. I think. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it's 9 when we
It
look at
is.
the thing. Yeah.
what state of Ninetales would this be? Like, is this like the one where Naruto, when he just had his eyes turned like into like the fox eyes, and then like part one Naruto, she is this like one of the like when he grows like a tail or two, or like you know, is this equivalent to like version two?
Well,
Is
that's
this
when he didn't have when Naruto was all red and Kurama took over his body, he just didn't have control of it. And he needed someone like Yamato to like control it. But it seems like Kurama's kind of tame and working together with Himawari. So I think this definitely seems like it's like the stage one, like first, like in the beginning in Naruto, and he gets mad and he grows like fangs and long nails. That's for sure.
but
So,
the
but
Yeah,
I
like
think
a
it'll be
base.
yeah, but I think it'll be an easier process for Himawari to upgrade with Kurama, especially if she gets Sage mode.
Yeah, I see it as like a base like Bijou cloak. But her compatibility is just so high that you actually don't get that chakra aura. Because it's not actually leaking out of her. She's able to like basically fully utilize that energy.
Yeah.
At least that's
So,
my idea. I don't know if that's actually what's going on.
um, so if the Otsutsuki captured some of the ten-tailed beasts, they would reappear. Like if they absorbed the tailed beasts and took all their chakra, they would somehow just reincarnate and reappear.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't. As long as they're absorbed, that chakra needs to be released for them to actually revive. Because you can seal a tailed beast. Like if your Waki wanted to, he could throw them in the timeless dimension, and yeah, they're not coming back.
Yeah. But with Baryon mode, all of Kurama's chakra was like burnt out, just burnt away.
I wonder if there's like a solution to that. By the way,
Well, maybe because they came from that planet, their chakra came from the planet with the fruit,
mm
so they reappear there. I don't know.
I mean,
Um,
technically speaking, his chakra was just released into the air. It wasn't like destroyed in the sense that it's just completely gone.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So with Hagoromo, he was able to take his mom, who was basically a Ten-Tails, which was weird to think about. But basically, he took a Ten-Tails and he split it up into 9 different beasts. But wouldn't that be Shinjutsu? And if so, in general, how did Hagoromo even come up with that?
Yo, there's so much questions. Like it's just so much questions that like start from Naruto, but I guarantee a lot of these questions are going to be answered in Boruto. I feel like we're going to get more explanation about the tail beast later on. Maybe if we learn about the Otsutsuki planet, if there is one. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I feel like tail beasts can't die, is because like they're all like really a part of the ten tails, and like when one passes away, all of the other beasts like their chakra like form another one because they're always from like one thing.
Yeah.
That's just like a small theory that I have.
Interesting.
So, I
Um,
mean, he was using the creation of all things technique, and supposedly Izanagi is a more practical application of it. But it's
bro,
basically like
that's crazy. But
I consider it to just be it's better in some ways because you're not losing an eye, but it's also kind of worse in other ways because I think it's a lot more complicated to actually pull off. And at the end of the day, I think it's really just a weaker form of like omnipotence because all you're doing is creating either the spiritual or the physical or both.
Kaguramo had too much time on his hands to sit there and meditate and, and figure that out.
Yeah, I don't remember how old he is, but I feel like he got to like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, which is crazy. But if we look at Boruto and Kawaki and maybe even Code, they're all basically Otsutskis. Code has we can get into Code later on another episode because we don't have one for him yet. But I believe Code, his dual karma, he can take Otsutsuki DNA somehow or another and fill in the rest of it and become Otsutsuki and sacrifice himself to the Ten Tails. But there's also potential that Kawaki, Boruto, and Code could split up the Ten Tails that they're dealing with right now. Well, I don't know about now because the Ten Tails split up. But if they can get all the Ten Tails back together into one, they can maybe take that beast and split it up into more beasts. Um, and maybe they would be
Definitely a
different beasts.
possibility.
What?
I was just saying it's definitely something that could happen.
Oh, for sure. And we've seen other types of beasts because Donzo was able to have his own. It was like an elephant one with like wind power. And then there was Nui, who I also believe was taken by Donzo. So there's different beasts out there in different dimensions, and I believe that that could happen. But what do you guys think that maybe Boruto or Kawaki or Code or someone can split up the Ten Tails, or it's too far past that?
Honestly, it's not far of a possibility. I had like a theory that was happening is like the Ten Tails with it becoming more and more intelligent because that's like what's going on right now. That's like what the dark future Boruto was afraid of. I was
Mm.
wondering if like the Ten Tails would eventually like be able to interpret like memories because like if you think about it, like the Ten Tails has been like oppressed by like the Otsutsuki for like since the beginning of time, like for millennia and millennia and millennia, right? So like once they like gain sentience, they should be able to like speak on that, and maybe that's the dark fate in the dark future. And then like what you're saying, like maybe by the end, like splitting the ten tails up could, you know, create other beasts that has an opportunity to like live a more free life after like the Otsutsuki threat is done.
Yeah,
But
and also they could absorb those beasts that they create from the Ten Tails. They could just take the chakra, honestly.
I feel like that could happen, but that sounds like it would be humans going back to the Jinchuriki War days, the first, second, third Ninja Wars,
Kawaki
fourth
don't give a
Ninja.
fuck. Kawaki don't care. He'll do it. Kawaki will literally do it for the power. And Seteri, I saw Seteri also mentioned that Nui uh if Nui is a beast from another 10 tails, it's a pretty weak one, probably to the 3 tails. Pretty sure Nui has what, 1 tail? Or am I tripping?
You might be right.
Um,
I was also looks like 1 tail. But I was also thinking of like the Renegon summons, because they're kind of out there.
yeah.
And we don't really know where they come from. They're supposed to be from different dimensions. Maybe they're the strongest beast within those dimensions, but they're not on something that on the level of like a tailed beast. But yeah, I mean, if Nue is technically a 1 tail, he'd be pretty strong if he's kind of equivalent to like the 3 tails of the normal 10 tails.
Yeah, it's almost like Sumere is gonna have to have a power up at some point. Like Sumere is like a hidden thing, honestly. And also Sumere wasn't affected by omnipotence, so that must mean something.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly would not be surprised if there's a third 10 tails to just make the story even more convoluted there.
That would be cool. That'd be funny. Yeah. So, I mean, there has to be more Atsusis out there. Like, maybe not just an Atsusi planet. I don't know. I really don't know.
Like,
But like,
I'm starting to think that they're gonna abandon that whole Tsutsuki thing. I hope they don't, but like I'm starting to think that because now that they're going to a whole, I mean, the Ten Tails is technically related to the Otsutsuki threat, but like, are we gonna have time to explore the Otsutsuki properly afterwards? Do
oh,
they
for
even,
sure, they have
you know?
to. We got to see the backstory and everything with those Suskis. We have to. There has to be something.
I mean, with all the space time ninjutsu in the series, it's not like a question of jumping across the entire universe. Like that's actually something that's technically doable.
And I mean, like going back to the Ten Tails, like, well, I'll say the Shinju, them gaining intelligence is a really interesting thing because like again there's a big chance they have memories from like all these millennia. They might be able to be the ones to tell us the Otsutsuki story about how it started, you know, like that could happen. They could say, hey, let
Maybe
me tell you the story about how this all began, you know. That's the way
you're
I
saying
kind of
you're
feel.
saying the Ten Tails will do that.
Well, the Shinju, because like
Shinju.
think about this, all the tail beasts, like 1 up to 9, right? They have sentience, they could talk, they can speak for themselves, they got personalities. They was able to live for like a couple, like 1,000 years, right? But Ten Tails is the only beast that didn't really have a say, and like I said, was oppressed like years, millennia, right? Now now that Ten Tails has finally got words, can finally interpret things, can finally speak for itself.
And
So
we'll see where Ishiki or Jigen got that Ten Tails from. We have to know.
All this Ten Tails talk about knowledge got me thinking. What if they found out about Amato? Because Amato is like one of the smartest people in the verse. So,
what
But
if the
what would
Ten
they
Tails
know?
found out about Amato?
like, I'm talking about like, what if they find out like he's a knowledgeable person?
Oh, oh, I see what you're saying. So they're like, oh, like let's talk to the scientists on this planet. Like, where's the smartest person here? Who's the smartest person here? And then
Yeah,
like they
because they
somehow like
observe
find
things.
Amato. Like, what kind of conversation? What kind of questions would they ask Amato?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it looks like they're trying to get their knowledge by absorbing people or like biting them. So
But Amado is he's been watching the whole time probably, and he's probably preparing himself for the worst.
Yeah, he wasn't even aware of the Shinju. Like he had no idea what they were.
Oh, well, now he knows.
it's funny because like I'm convinced every time we see Amato, he's acting. Because like keep in mind he's on camera, so
Same. I swear. I feel like he knows, but he's a good actor.
like
He's a good actor.
bro, he's literally on camera. So when he does stuff like, huh, what is that? I'm just like, yeah, okay, Amato.
He's
It's
too
so
smart to
funny.
not know they're watching him. Like
Yeah.
he-
But then again, it could be genuine. Like it's hard to tell with Amato.
it is.
But
Yeah,
I
I'm not
feel
even I'm not even
he
sure if he's
tech
actually lied. He's always withheld information, but I don't know if he's explicitly lied.
I think he's lied one time. I can only catch one time when he specifically lied. Remember when it was right after the Ishiki fight? They went back to the village, and then like Code was like running around, and then they was asking, like Code let Ada and Damon out, and they was asking, hey, Code on his own can't do much unless he has someone who could like a sensory person or someone that can help him gain like certain pieces of knowledge. And then Amato said, I don't know anyone like that in Kara. But like literally Ada existed. Like maybe he was saying it's there's no way Code's gonna let her out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what he was thinking. But that was still a bold face lie. He could have said, well, there's possibly someone like, I don't know. Maybe that's just another case of him withholding information, but he did genuinely lie about Ada for that second.
I mean, I think he thought Ida and Damon were dead because they were set to be destroyed. So his knowledge base was basically built upon the fact that all the extra cyborgs were dead.
That's another thing though. Like, so like back when everyone was like really theorizing about Amato, like think about it. Like Amato knew about the charm ability. So how does why would he so okay, so I this is the way I saw it for the longest time. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but like Amato is being watched by Jigen, right? So like I don't know her charm ability isn't gonna work on Jigen. So Jigen wouldn't understand the effects of it. So Jigen tells him, okay, throw her away. Right. And and then Mata says, okay, I'll send Boro to dispose of her, knowing that Boro's gonna fall for the charm and he's gonna find some way to keep her safe for the future. Because obviously Jigen felt that she was too dangerous. This could have been Amada's slick way of keeping her and Damon alive.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that's kind of a good point. Like, how would you destroy someone if you really can't? It's like it
if he truly
literally
wanted
goes against human nature.
yeah, like if he
Yeah.
truly wanted her destroyed, I would have been like, well, okay, he can't really ask Jigen to do it because Damon might slam Jigen's head to the ground or whatever. But it's just Amato logically, if he knew about her ability, sending Boro to dispose of her made no sense unless he did that so that she could stay alive somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like Jigen's not against the idea of dispatching his own inners and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, if you go off the anime, you have Oga. She's a Kara inner, and she has a straight up hole in her head that's the size of a chakra rod. So
Yeah. Anyway, I think maybe we're going off topic.
Yeah.
yeah,
So back on track. So we see Kurama, and he's like a kid version of himself. Like I said earlier, like teenage, maybe rebellious, funny a little bit. I don't know. But how long do you think it'll take for Kurama to grow and mature to what he once was?
That's hard to say. It depends on if Kurama just now spawned in Himawari or he started like building up chakra the moment like he passed away. Like if it took him 3 years to get to this form, then it's probably gonna take him 3 more years to double in size. You know what I'm saying? 10 years to like grow full size or whatever. Or if he just not spawned, then he might like grow really fast.
10 years sounds
Like,
realistic.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think we ever saw like a juvenile Three Tails whenever it was put into the Mizukage, but
Mhm.
so I mean, it's probably a lot faster for the weaker tailed beast. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe a year or so. So by near,
Mm.
You know,
like I guess near the end of the series, he'd be full formed.
you know, what'd be crazy if like the tailed beasts inside you, because like remember they're just talking to each other like through their conscious, right? Like, imagine if the tailed beast appears as you see them, right? So like Naruto always pictured the Nine Tails as this big scary monster. Everyone does. So like that's how he appears in his head. But maybe Himawari always pictured the Nine Tails as this cute little chibi box, and that's what's in her head right now. But he's really at his full power or whatever. You know how crazy that would be.
Yeah, Kurama's
Is
came a long way though. Seriously. Like
and
he
actually now that I think about it, there's honestly no reason that Himawari wouldn't have access to the other tailed beasts through Kurama.
that would be crazy.
I wonder.
I mean, probably you're right.
Like, there's a chance that since they're still alive, their chakra just went back to themselves instead of, because I think what happens is whenever you are like interact, well, when you're a Jinchuriki of the beast, like their chakra, a piece of their chakra just sticks to you. So, so I don't know if the other beast's chakra is stuck onto Kurama like that. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I think it would be funny for her to pull out like the kind of that six pass form where she's using all the Chinchuriki. It'd be a little bit too early for that. I don't know. I think people would get pretty heated on like Twitter, TikTok, and things like that.
They'll be like, "Oh, she got it for free."
Yeah,
Alright,
even
so
though it's been established that Kurama is the link for that. But yeah.
I wanted to share with you guys something I got recently, and it pertains to Kurama. I recently purchased some uh, Naruto and Boruto production drawings that they use to make the anime. And if you're listening, I'm gonna post a picture of it on the website. But if you're here now, I'm gonna show you live. Hey, that's me. What's up, guys? And then
Hey,
check this out. I have a Kurama drawing with, I think it could be either Obito or Madara. I think it's Obito. I don't know. Something.
Looks a little bit like Madara to me. But yeah.
oh, that's Madara. That's
It's
definitely
Madara, yeah. This is when he was fighting Hashirama or something.
that's
But yeah.
awesome.
And it comes with certificate of authenticity. And this comes
Whoa.
straight from Japan. This is from Japan. This is a real
Whoa.
production drawing that they used to make the anime. I just got this a few weeks ago.
You got to get
I
that
wonder how
framed.
cool that is.
You
Oh,
got
I
to make
will.
it like a reversible frame where it's like glass on both sides.
Is that a better view?
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. There's going to be also a link for Boruto Fan in his TikTok. You check out his lives. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining and everyone that got this far in the podcast. Share this with your friends. You know, check out the website. You can leave reactions. You can leave comments. But yeah, thanks for tuning in and hope to see you in the next one. Check us out on Spotify. You can interact. There's like questions and give us 5 stars. You know the deal. Thanks to everyone that joined. Settery, Drifting, Boruto Fan. This was an awesome episode. I couldn't wait to do this one, and I really appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks. See ya.
I'm sorry I kept muting. There's a bunch of kids outside there screaming loudly, so